Hello and welcome back to our channel. If you're new here, my name is Emily, and while we typically show corn harvest, soybean harvest, custom harvesting forages for dairies, today we're showing you a little bit of a different harvest. We are here at Wollersheim Winery, which is a winery in our town. Fabulous winery here in Wisconsin. I highly recommend visiting here if you're able to. But we are here to experience grape harvest firsthand. So they are taking and harvesting their grapes right now here on their estate for their wines. So we are going to go through the entire process and learn all about harvesting grapes that will go into wine and brandy. I am here with Philippe. He is one of the owners of Wollersheim, and I've known Philippe for probably 10 years now. Yeah. So very thankful for Philippe for letting us come here and show you guys all of this. And I'm going to flip the camera around and let him give you guys a history of Wollersheim.
So the history of Wollersheim started in 1847. That's when the site was founded as a grape growing area. 1852. They started construction on the winery building and the house. It was a commercial winery until the Prohibition. So they grew Native American grapes, Concord, Catawba, Delaware, Niagara, and so on, until 1919 when everything closed down and it became a farm with dairy cows, a silo, and so on. 1972, my in-laws, Bob and Joan Wollersheim, native of Fond du Lac, bought the property and restored everything, replanted the vineyard, and restarted grape growing and winemaking. 1984, I came on board through a student exchange program with FFA. There were 10 of us French kids coming to America, 10 American kids going to France, and as a good Frenchman, I fell in love, and here I am. So I'm celebrating my 40th harvest. Harvest is what we live for. We grow the grapes. We wait for this time of the year when it's winemaking. We have growers in New York State, in Michigan, in California, and in Washington State. And we have 8 growers here in Wisconsin that grow grapes for us, for the brandy or for blush wine. So it is hectic. It is grapes and juice coming every day. Yesterday I had 3 tankers. This morning I had 1. Tomorrow afternoon I have another one from Washington State. While we are picking the grapes ready on the estate, this morning we did 20,000 pounds of whites, and we have another 20,000 pounds of reds to press to be a blush wine. We love what we're doing, and it's great weather. Earlier in the year, we were all concerned with too much rain, 12 inches in June, which is crazy. So there were a lot of concern with fungus. We are not organic. We have to spray, especially for the fungus. And we stayed on top of it. We have a beautiful crop. And thank God to this dry, some people call it a drought. For us, we love that. Dry weather has allowed the ripening of the fruit. Sugar content is going up. Acidity is going down. Color intensity is up. So it is about perfect as it gets. When you have quantity and quality, that's really what you want. So thanks, enjoy, and drink Wisconsin wine.
the harvester now. So once the grapes are picked with the harvester, they're put in these totes, and then the totes come back here, and they are all marking kind of where they came from on the vineyard, because it's different varieties and will go into different types of wine. And then they need to know that for when they go to crush them, to know, make sure they're all, you know, obviously together, so they all go into the same type of wine.
So when we are looking to harvest, we're out in the field basically every day from February when we're pruning in the snow, hopefully not too much snow, but there's always a little, through harvest, which is usually about the first week of September or the last week of August. But what we're doing, once the grapes change color, which is usually mid-July, then we know that they're starting to accumulate sugar. And so they go through a color change and they start getting a little bit bigger and sweetening up. So what we do is we go out every few days and test the grapes, testing the sugar and the acidity, and always tasting. Just like we're always tasting the wine, we're tasting in the field too, because we really feel as winemakers that we start making the wine in the field. So once we decide to start harvesting, we don't harvest everything at once. We harvest bit by bit, and we take the blocks that we traditionally feel because of maybe their age, or where they're planted on the site, if they're on a slope, or a more flat area, the color and the fruit aromas will have different intensities. So based on that, we'll choose which fields to harvest to become which wines. And even before that, we have an idea early in the spring when we're starting to prune. We prune either lighter or heavier to make sure that we're starting that process out in the field first. So once we decide, then we might combine a few blocks together, or we'll keep a few separate, and then start harvesting. Sometimes it's with the machine. Other spots where it's way too steep for that machine, we do it by hand, and we will always do those fields by hand, and then bring it into the tank.
And here are some of the grapes that were just harvested today, or yesterday.
Today.
Today.
Just this morning. Just within the
Just
last
this
hour.
morning.
Sometimes it comes off as a full cluster.
Mm-hmm.
Other times it'll come off as just loose berries. All of these, that'll go for the blush. So these are harvested, some of our earliest reds that are harvested, these will go to a lighter blush wine. They come from flatter fields on the property, and they're harvested early, so they have lower sugar and a lot more acid. So it's that light, fruity blush wine style that we're going for.
Mm-hmm.
The reds that will come in next week, we're going to be picking our steeper fields next Monday, next Thursday, so a few days from now, to a full week from now. Those are going to be a lot more intense, a lot sweeter, a lot riper than this. And these, at pruning, we actually prune them a little bit lighter, so they're cropped more heavily, and the resources are more scattered across more clusters. So it tends to be a little bit lighter than the more intense fruit that we're waiting for the heavy reds later on.
And then these are all grapes that were just harvested off of the vines. these were grapes that were just harvested and they are coming down to be pressed. So the grapes then, they'll come from there through this light tube. You can see them coming through right here. Then this is what's actually pressing them and pressing the juice out of it. So then down here is the pressed juice. Okay, so what Philippe just told me is they bring the grapes in here, it goes through here, it goes into the different crushers. So these are what's crushing it initially to get the juice out. And then it'll go through these different pipes here, or different tubing here. You can see them down on the ground. And then it will go over into here. It'll get pumped up into insulated. Well, first it'll get cooled down to about 42 degrees, he said. And then it'll get pumped up into these insulated vats essentially, and then it'll go in there and then it'll settle, and then the sediment is what they don't want, and then they'll take the clear juice from the top and that's what is made into the wine. They are pressing the juice behind me and this is a sample of the juice. That's good. That'll be even better when it's wine. So there's a lot of science that goes behind winemaking too. This is Celine.
Hello. I'm just going to stay in the line, please.
What are we doing with?
We are checking the rate of fermentation on this tank. It is going to be a brandy tank. And every day, once or twice, we check to see the specific gravity and see the drop in it. And that tells us how fast the fermentation is going and if we need to adjust the temperature to make the yeast happier, especially near the end. It likes to be a little bit warmer, or if we need to help it go faster, slower. If it's going too fast, we lose aromas. If it's going too slowly, we know the yeast is a little bit stressed out. So we can help adjust temperature during those times to make it happy.
And this is brandy, you said?
This will be brandy wine. So this is going to be fermented completely to dryness. So we'll see it drop to about this, and then it'll go over to the distillery right away to be distilled.
That's so cool. So the juice in here, is this one from like grapes that were crushed this morning, or?
This is juice that arrived this morning from New York State.
Gotcha.
So even though we have a lot of vineyards here, the winter doesn't allow us to grow all the varieties that we need.
Yep.
So this one is coming from the Finger Lakes area. And when it comes in, we test the specific gravity, the sugar in bricks, which is the percent of sugar, the acids, and the TA, the total acidity, and then the most important part is the tasting, and that's what allows us to choose the yeast that we're using.
And then for people who don't know winemaking, yeast is what is used to convert it to the alcohol, basically.
Right. So the yeast will consume the sugar and create alcohol. During that time, we're also monitoring the temperature because it produces a lot of heat.
Gotcha. Just like we have crazy harvests with us, winemakers also have crazy wild harvests too, and just a little hectic chaos going on. So I'm very thankful to Wollersheim for letting me come here and do this. So the winery literally opened up for visitors to come here about 15 minutes ago, and it's full of people coming up. The parking lot is already filling up. So this right here is the distillery. So that's where they sell the spirits and have different things in there. Brandy for your old fashions if you're from Wisconsin especially. And then up here is the winery part. So in there they have a bistro where they serve lunch and stuff. Really delicious food if you're ever in Wisconsin and come to visit here. I highly recommend coming here. and getting some lunch. It's so good. And then there's a patio back there, a retail store, stuff like that. So the perfect fall day for a little vineyard, a little winery visit. So on the winery or on the estate, they have a historic wine cave in here. That's where I am right now. And it just shows you some of what the different processes looked like back in the day. But where they're located here in Wisconsin too, it's perfect for this because they're built this right into the side of the hill. Here's a look at the winery from up above. So here's like the retail area, the bistro. Everyone can sit out here and enjoy their wine and food. Grapes. More patio. That's the wine cave, historic wine cave up there. More patio, but literally the perfect place to sit on a beautiful fall or summer or spring day and enjoy a glass of wine. Got my wine and we're all good to go. That is grape harvest for everyone who is interested in learning what happens for grape harvest to make all the delicious wine that we get to consume. Thank you again so much to the Coquard family and to Wollersheim for letting me come and visit and get all the behind the scenes goodies for you guys. If you are interested in trying Wollersheim wine and their spirits, depending on what state you're from, you can order it directly from their website and it'll get shipped to you. I put their link in our description box. It's a fabulous winery here in Wisconsin. My favorite place to visit, my favorite place to get wine from, so I highly recommend. And if you're ever visiting the state of Wisconsin, also recommend coming here and checking it out yourself. But again, thank you guys so much for watching this video. Thanks for just coming along with us on all the adventures that we go on. I hope you learned something new today. And if you have any questions about grape harvest, let us know. Like I said, we are local here, so we're able to go and ask Wollersheim all the questions that you guys might have. So thanks for watching this video. We'll see you in the next one. Bye.